My name's Sonia Howell, and I am the executive director of Tranquil Studio. And this is the Tranquil Studio podcast, and I've created it so I can connect with community partners. The focus would be education, as I'm an educational consultant, and I will be interviewing parents, community partners such as mental health specialists, other organizations that provide training, and attorneys, maybe judges, just to see what's out there in the community as far as training and how the training is designed, and just sharing with our community what is out there. So I thought maybe the first one should be Tranquil Studio and why we're here and what we're doing. So I'll get right into that. So Tranquil Studio provides educational consulting for organizations and parenting instruction. And with that, these are some of the books that I've created working with others. And the most popular book that I have is the Trauma Informed Parenting. The second one here is a 6-step solution to end domestic violence. And that is working with community partners to provide effective instruction in a way that parents would like to receive it. The next one is the teen substance recovery. I worked with an intern with that one, and the broken bridges. Both of those I worked with interns from Adrian College. And the child alienation book, I worked with an organization called PAS is Real. And those three are examples of what I do when I work with other organizations, creating tailored training material to be used here in our community. Those are just examples. So why Tranquil Studio? So there is a huge demand for tailored educational materials created right here in our community. And even though there's tons of evidence-based material that's out there, what I found with my own study, with my own clients, was that the parents really wanted things that were created or selected specifically for them. And I'm not saying other organizations who are using empirical evidence or evidence-based materials isn't effective here in Lenawee or in the southeastern Michigan. It's just that my parents that I've worked with said that what they needed, which could be a whole different group of people, said that they needed tailored material for their family specifically. And I did create the transformative mindset instructional design. I'll give you a little tour on that, and then I have a call to action. So what's going on in our community is that at a certain time, there were a certain amount of parents in this one sector. So this is high conflict within the families. So there was a certain number, and the Rights and Responsibilities Act helped cover the cost for parents. And then we moved to, if there was a court order, there were more parents that needed support, but less people fit in the area of having financial support for it. So as we moved even closer to today, in 2024, the only people who had it paid for was the parents who had open CPS cases. Even though the number of parents increased, once again, the financial support for those parents was decreased. So predicting in the future, there's a bill that's going around, and that bill says for parents to pay for their own instruction, and once they achieve their goal, then they get 75% refunded. So yet again, the amount of parents that needed support or projected that there'll be more, as this is what's been going on since I started working with parents. And the number of parents has increased, and the amount to support them financially has decreased. So only the wealthiest of the wealthy will be able to support this parenting instruction. So this sector, once again, is the parents in the divorce and in the probate possibly do not have their family or do not have their families in whole. They have different homes, or the children are in foster care or something. So the parents who need the most support are the ones who are receiving the least amount of financial support. And the information that I received on this was from the census, that there are about 500 marriages in Lenawee County and about 320 divorces. This was estimated over quite a few years. And 10% of those are in high conflict. So we're looking at quite a number of people, because it's not just who's in that year, it's also the year before and the year before and the year before. So if we multiply, let's say each family has 2 children, so that's 38 times 2 children, and put those in our school systems and through our community, within the community, I guess you could just say. And we're going to have 70, 80 in our school system next year, and you just keep adding. It's going to increase every semester or every year. We're going to have more and more students that need additional support. So what does that look like? So if we look at this wheel here, parenting challenges, increased inequality for support, and then move more into less effective interventions. That's what's available for them, which would be asynchronous online courses, and what my studies have shown. So what that means is there's no instructor, it's just knowledge based with a couple quizzes at the end. And then the cascade of consequences is that we're going to have more um, displaced children, more children in foster care. We're going to have more high conflict cases that are not being supported, and our community is going to be even more overwhelmed than it already is. And that's going to lead to even more parenting challenges. So we're just going to continue this cycle. So here's some of the classes or some of the information that's out there. So there's the Smile video, that's $0, yet it's maybe a 40-minute video, and it doesn't it's just knowledge based. And then there's the Michigan Parenting Skills class. The parents that I worked with said it was degrading. It was discussing things that wasn't relevant, and it was not what they needed. So then there's the children in between. So even though I believe that video is very, very nice, and it's very effective as far as giving knowledge, they said it's not relevant to their families. So these are words that the parents said, not me, but we have to listen to what they're saying. We're telling them that's the best we have, that's easily affordable. Then we have to listen to their, the response to it. Then there's the next one is it's high conflict solutions. There's no instructor, and they really want that community connection. And then there's the Michigan legal help, and that's all fine and dandy to know what the legalities are, but once you get in the courtroom, some of those just go out the window when you have this attorney and that attorney, and they're debating each other, trying to figure out like how they can get their client to win whatever they're trying to win. Then there's service providers. The feedback was that they felt oppressed, and some had bad attitudes, disregarded family factors, and they just felt that they really did not want those cold handoffs. They want a soft handoff. So that's kind of what this podcast is building here, is a connection. Instead of giving a list of people for them to call, it's actually handing them off, introducing them to their supports. And the next thing they said was that the cost. So you have one for $0 and one for $25, one for $70, and another for $129, while they're paying their attorneys and while they're trying to take time off of work to go visit their children, or switch to third shift so they'll have parenting time with their children while they're in foster care. So it just gets extremely expensive for them. So they're looking for support that is something that is effective for them. So this is what they were saying they want. They want unique service offerings. So we want to say that, we're Lenawee, we're great and everything, but there is a such thing as Anyway Lenawee. And our Anyway Lenawee parents want it their way. They don't want just to purchase software or to purchase a book and have it handed to them and not have activities. So anyways, I'm going to go through what they said. So they want it personalized. They want someone to look at their personal family and help them with those needs. And they don't want to have to go through a dozen different scenarios or a dozen different lessons when all their judge has asked them to have, or all they feel they need, is three of those dozen. So they want it to be specifically to what they need. They want collaboration, that not just collaboration within the families, but also collaboration within their family, sitting down with their caseworkers, with everybody, and making decisions with each other instead of just being ordered to do something. So they also want the community partners to all know each other and know what each other have, don't have, and connect with each other. And although we have community meetings and such, we might be referring for assistance in this or in that. And once they get there, there's no assistance. And they're like, we haven't had assistance for that since 8 months ago. So just keeping up with what each other have or don't have and not passing them off is what they're looking for. And they want someone who's understanding, not just understanding the content, but someone who's understanding the situation and is a really nice intervention instead of someone who has a power complex or an ego or says things like, I can't believe this family's doing this, da 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 da. They want someone who's just understanding. They definitely want a meaningful focus. They want to know what they're supposed to do. They want to check it off, not just parenting instruction, but what within that parenting instruction. And they want it to mean something to their family. Next is they want it accessible. So we think accessible, everybody can do these online classes. Not everyone can. Not everyone understands how to do it on the phone or on the computer, and some of them don't understand how to read. And so we need to give multiple modes of delivery. So I've got the class online. You can have it on the app on your phone. I've got it where I can connect with them on the weekends. And there's also a workbook now, which over the past 18, 19 months, I've created 14 workbooks. 12 of them are parenting workbooks, and 2 of them are instructional design workbooks, helping organization create tailored training material. Next is they want it low cost. So as they're working minimum wage and their children are not with them, and now they have to hurry up and get a GED, get a car, get a house, get insurance, and still keep working while they're taking time off to see their children who are in foster care. And they have to get an attorney, and possibly an attorney for civil, and possibly also an attorney for probate. Their costs are over the roof, and they only have 18 months or so to get all of this done. So they're asking for the cost to be lessened. So the resolution that Tranquil Studio has is the parents are not all going to be able to come to Tranquil Studio. I can't work and do parenting instruction where there's no funding. So that's going to push the instruction back to organizations. And what I can do, though, other than give parenting instruction for everyone for free and just, not have a job, just help with parenting instruction in high conflict areas, is I can see that there are troubled families. There's definitely troubled families, and those troubled families are going to go looking for interventions. So those interventions don't have to always be me. They can be the workbooks that I have. They can be the courses that I have, but they could also be going to the foundations within the community that specialize in whatever their need is. If they're having trouble with finances and they're losing their home and they're homeless, and we have supports out there. So creating training from that area of how to keep your house, how to keep your car, how to keep all of that. So sending them to that specialist with tailored training materials would be the most effective that I've seen. And the next would be making sure that those organizations have effective instruction. And you see the girl smiling. She doesn't have a powerful face where she's like, well, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? You've got this whole list. You're not connecting with who you're connecting with. They want that connection, but they want someone who's understanding and kind also. And our return of interest is our community builds. And as I mentioned, anyway, we're out here. We're not neighboring any other big cities. We're really way out here. So we need to take care of our own and make sure that our community is the best that it can be. Next, my postdoc study, it was talking about the letter of citizen participation. So with the studies that I've done, I'll run through this, where we have therapy, where it's DHHS and healthcare approved, and the court order with no parent input. So that's the collaboration part they want. So they're not participating in any of that. And it might take a little bit and they might come into it, but the ones that are really, really frustrated with the system, they're not participating. So then we have the placation. I'm always going to say that word wrong. So, anyways, the Rights and Responsibilities Act, we do have, and it does say that we can provide for all of the children who need it, whatever's available. That used to mean whatever is needed within the family. Well, that has changed from whatever's needed into the family to whatever the child needs, and it has removed parenting instruction out of that in many cases. So then there's consultation, there's synchronous instruction, which is what I provide, and that still could be considered tokenism if it's not effective. We can say, yes, we do have the Rights and Responsibilities Act, and we have the synchronous instruction. And the next one is giving the informative instruction, which is the asynchronous online and the legal help. We can give them knowledge-based information, but that's not active learning. So that could be considered, yes, we mark it off our list. We do have that in our community, and that's great. But according to this letter of citizenship and participation, and I adapted it for the parenting instruction matters. In order for the citizens to feel like they have power, we're going to have to move to, there is some partnership going on where not just me, but my example would be the transformative mindset instructional design that I created that does talk about what the parents do want. And then there's the delegation of power, where the parents got to do a peer review of my education, and I'm certain other organizations are doing the same thing, where they're asking for surveys, responses, and feedback from the parents. I've seen it quite a few times, so I know that those things are going on. But the absolute most effective way, according to this model, is having it so the citizens have control and the processes are different and the policies are changed. So just giving that information out there that we do know this way already. I mean, this study was created in 2016, updated 2019, and now I've adapted it for Parenting Instruction Matters. So there's that. And if you just think about it, how can you make things more effective there? So one of the items that I want to talk about is my call to action. My call to action would be creating tailored, transformative, intervention-based instruction. And that is the TMID, the Transformative Mindset Instructional Design that I have. And I've written a couple of books on how to create material. And then there's the community partnerships, which this podcast is going to help, because I'm pulling in community partners, finding out what they're doing educationally, finding what they're doing in their own little atmosphere, and sharing that out to the world. And the next thing is my campaign this year is Adoptive Families. So I do have these 12 pieces of curriculum, and their workbooks, and I have courses. So support family and education. So the 2024 campaign is to purchase books and share them out to others, and for me to make sure that I do get them out into the community. And if you have any other ideas, or if you would like to be on the podcast, if you'd like to show yourself and work with me and get your information out to the community, that would be wonderful. The parents I work with definitely want to be introduced to you. They want to be able to see your face. They want to see your office. They want to see what you have available. And parents, if you have any ideas on what you would like to be in a podcast, just let me know. And we'll see if we can get those interviews to happen. All right. Have a great night, and keep the creative solutions coming. Have a great night. Bye.